Hello everybody, we've got a new dev blog from the Old School RuneScape team. This is the Grand Exchange. So this dev blog is going to be covering some big issues like everything Grand Exchange related, the Dragon Defender, and some quality of life updates. So let's have a look at the dev blog for the Grand Exchange. In the poll planned for next week, they're going to be offering the full Grand Exchange along with some additional quality of life questions. In this dev blog, they're going to be going over the Grand Exchange system and clarifying exactly what will be implemented into Old School. So first of all, the Grand Exchange. The Grand Exchange is a system that aids players in buying and selling items. If it were released, the trading post will be removed. It would not replace the original manual trading system, it would exist alongside it. The sale of items through the Grand Exchange determines the market value of items sold. The market value represents the average value of the item based on recent sales, and is updated every 6 hours. While RS3's Grand Exchange has website features to track the price history of all the items, it may not be possible to get all those features added to the Old School website alongside the launch of the Grand Exchange. Nevertheless, they would aim to have them added as soon as possible. Next, trading through the Grand Exchange. If you wanted to trade items through the Grand Exchange, you would head to the Grand Exchange building northwest of Varrock and talk to a Grand Exchange clerk. You will then be shown an interface with 6 slots. Each slot can be used as either a buy or sell offer. If you choose to sell an item, you'll be prompted to select the item from your inventory and then set a price. The price of the item when you initially select it will be the market value, and you are free to increase or decrease your asking price. After you confirm your offer, the items you're selling will be stored in the Grand Exchange. It is then down to your fellow players to put in an appropriate buy offer in order for your item to sell. Your trade will be complete once a buy offer has been found to match your sell offer, and you'll be able to collect the coins either from the Grand Exchange clerk or any bank around the game. If you wish to buy items through the Grand Exchange, you will need to return to the offer screen and select the buy option in any open slot. You will then see a screen asking you to search for an item. Here you can look for any tradable item in the game. After searching for and selecting the item you wish to buy, you will then have to choose what quantity of the item you wish to buy and how much you want to pay for each item. Once you have confirmed your offer on the Grand Exchange, the coins to cover the offer will be taken from your inventory and stored in the Grand Exchange. The Grand Exchange will check if there are any matching sell offers available. If a match is found, you will receive the items you were purchasing and any remaining coins due to players selling items for the price lower than what you are offering to buy them. You can then collect your items from the Grand Exchange clerks or through collect option at any bank in the game. Next, limits. Just to be clear, if the Grand Exchange is introduced, there will be absolutely no price limits. One issue that the Grand Exchange may bring alongside with it is the possibility of price manipulation. While a large majority of items will remain unaffected, some items that are traded infrequently may end up with prices being artificially altered by large groups of players in order to profit. In order to combat manipulation, there will be limits on the rate at which you can buy different types of items. These limits will be generous and will likely not interrupt any day-to-day trading that you're doing, but they will go a long way in making sure items are not bought out in bulk. There will be no limits on sell offers, and these limits will only affect the Grand Exchange. You would still be able to trade through the trade screen as usual if you needed items in bulk. Next, the price checker. If the Grand Exchange is introduced into Old School, they would also add a price checker interface so you can see the value of your items from anywhere in the game. A button to open the interface will be added next to the button to open the items lost on death interface. Next, coin share. With the Grand Exchange in Old School, they would have the ability to offer coin share, a system that automatically converts signature drops into their market value and offers the items on the Grand Exchange. They'll look at polling coin share once they know whether or not the Grand Exchange will be coming into Old School. To note, the images that they've used in this devlog to illustrate how the Grand Exchange works are of the original Grand Exchange menus from 2007. For Old School RuneScape, they would use a similar menu layout, but the screens and buildings would not be identical. So, in the upcoming Grand Exchange poll, they'll be asking the question, should they introduce the Grand Exchange? The trading post will be removed and replaced with a Grand Exchange building northwest of Varrock, and a collect option will be added to every bank. I think I'll be voting no on that. Obviously it's a very convenient thing, but it's something that I would say is not very old school. And really, I think the trading post is doing a great job at the moment. So, if that question fails, they've got a few fallback options. In case the Grand Exchange does not pass, they'll also be offering a couple of changes to the trading post. The first is to hide offers from players that do not have their private chat set to on. This would ensure that anyone with a visible offer on the trading post will be able to receive your private message and would save you time of adding players that cannot be contacted. The second would be the ability to open the trade interface with players through the trading post. Those have to be on the same world as you and in the bank area. Even if the Grand Exchange does not pass, they'll be able to offer some form of loot share system in a future poll if we'd like. So a couple of questions that we're going to be asked in the next poll are: if the Grand Exchange poll fails, should they update the trading post to hide offers from players who've set their private chat to friends or off? Personally, I think that's a great idea. Although, if they've got you on their friends list, I think you should be able to see their offers. Also, I think it'd be good to have a small tick box to show that you're in your clan chat or not. The next question: if the Grand Exchange poll fails, should the trading post let you click a player's offer to send them a trade request, allowing you to trade with them without meeting up? There would need to be a bank and on the same world as you. Somewhat, I think this is a good idea. However, I don't like the idea of someone trading from Lumbridge to Varrock. I'd rather you be in the same bank. And that could help it if you were in a busy area as opposed to just trading from one end of the world to the other. Next, the Warriors Guild basement and Dragon Defender. For some time, the question of the Dragon Defender has been coming up. The Old School community have made it clear that the only place it can come from is the Warriors Guild, and so they would like to offer a small expansion to the Warriors Guild. They would like to add a basement to the guild that can be accessed by showing Camfrina a Rune Defender and receiving a key. The basement would contain large Cyclopses, a slightly more challenging version of the Cyclops that has a chance of dropping Dragon Defenders. Dragon Defenders would come with the following stats: a plus 25 stab attack, a plus 24 slash attack, a plus 23 crush attack, a negative 3 magic attack, a negative 2 range attack, a plus 25 stab defense, a plus 24 slash defense, a plus 23 crush defense, a negative 3 magic defense, a negative 2 range defense, and a plus 6 strength bonus. Players that do not have the defense requirements for the Dragon Defender would still be able to use the existing Cyclopses to get multiple Rune Defenders. So the question they'll be asking will be, should they add a basement to the Warriors Guild containing bigger Cyclopses that have chance of dropping Dragon Defenders? To access the basement, you will need to show Camfrina a Rune Defender to get a key. And you would still need to pay the same token fee as you pay to access the Cyclopses on the top floor. Now I'm unsure what I'll be voting on this question. Personally, I've always thought that if we're going to get a Dragon Defender, it should definitely be a Warriors Guild expansion. And this expansion sounds slightly better than the one that RuneScape 3 has. So for Old School, I think only having the bigger Cyclops drop it is a good idea. Although depending on the level of these bigger Cyclopses, I'd kind of like the idea of having a Cyclops boss. However, I'm unsure if I actually want to get the Dragon Defender. I feel it will somewhat devalue the Dragonfire Shield, however the Dragonfire Shield is still technically slightly better. Next, other questions they're going to be asking. Should they increase the number of available bank slots for both free-to-play and members by 200? Should they remove the harpoon option on fishing spots found in Piscatoris? Should they make messages from players that you have added to your ignore list disappear? Should saplings of tradable seeds be made tradable? Should they allow Ava's devices to retrieve ammo regardless of where it landed? Currently, they cannot collect ammo from anywhere you cannot directly walk to. Should filtering public chat also filter chat seen over other players' heads? Should they append the names of the recipe disaster gloves to include the level they represent, for example, rune gloves? Should they adjust the inventory appearance of maple logs and staffs to prevent them being confused with yew logs and battle staffs in trade screens? Should they remove the unnecessary dialogue when entering or leaving Sophenum for those who are allowed to use the gate? Should they change Trouble Brewing to only require one player on each crew to start a game? Should they add a right-click option to Slayer Masters to get an assignment? should they open the north side of Varrock West Bank to provide access to the agility shortcut. Should they add NPCs that unnote items for 5 GP per item near general stores. These NPCs would be for the use of Iron Men, as although other players could then unnote their items without risk of other players taking them. One NPC will be added to Karamja General Store, Rimington, Polinovich, and the Bandit Camp. Should a deposit all be added to the bank deposit boxes. Should they add a timer to the fight cave to tell you how long it took you to get from wave 1 to killing Tuztok Jad. And should they add a fee of 50k to the priestess who collects your dropped items at Zulrah. She will also be made to show you what items of yours she is holding and offer you the chance to discard them if you do not want to pay. All of those questions seem quite good. Finally, they need our feedback. They want us to let them know exactly how we feel about these proposed changes. Our feedback is always vital when it comes to old school updates, so don't hold back. So if you want to leave your feedback, make sure you go on the forums. Personally, I think this is a great dev blog. Obviously they are looking into getting the Grand Exchange for players who want it. Personally, I think a lot of people got stuck into the mindset of using the Grand Exchange to buy everything in RS3 that they just want that in old school. And really, I think that mindset is the sort of change that old school really doesn't want. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, devlogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.